Adelaide's morning news with Mike Smithson starts now.
Good morning and welcome to 7 News. Good Friday church services are in full swing around the state. Deanna Williams joins us live. Dee, this is a special time for many denominations.
Yes, it is, Mike, and it's a far cry from what we experienced last year when all church services had to be live streamed. The capacity limits have been eased just in time for Easter, and that was pretty evident at most of the services today. Churches are allowed to operate at 100% capacity. Several hundred flocked to the Stations of the Cross at Glen Osmond, the retreat. It's one of the most popular devotions at this time of the year and attracts parishioners of all ages.
This is wonderful. Wonderful for us, wonderful for the people that we can have the Sacred Gardens open this year. And I do want to thank state government and archdiocesan authorities for negotiating this. It's lovely to be able to appreciate the way of the cross, to actually walk it, and for people to express their faith in this way on Good Friday.
Compliance not a problem. There were QR codes and sanitising stations scattered throughout.
To come with the family and also to be outside and in the beautiful garden, it's actually really lovely because last year we really felt it like we didn't get to be with family, so this is a really lovely.
The Easter Vigil began with the traditional Holy Thursday washing of the feet. This year, the participants were made up of essential workers, including nurses, doctors and emergency personnel. As for the rest of the weekend services, there'll be masses tomorrow and, of course, on Easter Sunday. Elsewhere, a small number of food outlets will be open today, including Sam Tas Seafood on Richmond Road, as well as selected Hague stores for those who've left their Easter egg shopping until the last minute. And you can take that as a hint. Smitho?
Thanks, Dee, I will. Police are hunting a driver after the vehicle he was in caught fire while doing burnouts at Wingfield. Locals say the area is a haven for hoons. Peter Caldecott has the story.
A witness who raised the alarm at 1:30 a.m. claimed they saw flames coming from underneath this Ford sedan. The driver had been doing burnouts on Rafferty Street to the point where two of the tyres were shredded to the rims and rubber fragments were strewn across the road. Witnesses say a couple of people were standing near the car when it was on fire. Two other cars arrived and drove off along Wing Street before police and firefighters arrived. Workers in the industrial area say it happens all the time and they'd like to see a designated skid pan set up where people who want to do burnouts can do it safely.
You're going to have to give them somewhere legal to do it at the end of the day. And I think it's fairly simple, really.
Go to a place where it's actually set up for it. Have a burnout pad somewhere, even in Gilman somewhere, where they can go and do it. Would be a good idea. Then it keeps them off the streets.
Has to be done at Raceway, not on public roads.
Police are trying to track down the registered owner of the Ford Falcon. It's completely gutted and at some point will have to be towed away. Police want to hear from anyone who may have witnessed the burnouts or have CCTV of hoons in the Wingfield area.
Quick work by firefighters has saved a northern suburbs printing warehouse. Crews raced to the scene after a paper compacting machine caught alight at Salisbury South. The premises there at about 9 p.m. The flames were brought under control, limiting the damage to $15,000. An Easter camping trip's been cut short for a woman on York Peninsula. The 24-year-old was airlifted to the RAH with serious injuries after being thrown from a quad bike near Moonta. She'd been riding on the beach when she hit a clump of seaweed. Two petrol retailers are facing fines of up to $10,000 each for failing to comply with the RAA new real-time fuel app. The scheme requires all retailers to register and record prices within 30 minutes of a change. The state government says a further 7 warning notices have also been issued. Queensland staging an incredible COVID turnaround, recording no cases of community transmission in the past 24 hours. As Marlena Wapp reports, efforts to contain Brisbane's clusters have proved successful.
Health authorities say the results have been excellent, with no new locally acquired cases in the past 24 hours after more than 35,000 tests. And they believe they found a missing link in one of the 2 clusters related to the Princess Alexandra Hospital. It's another nurse. They believe she became infected after treating an overseas traveller who tested positive in hotel quarantine. Now, at the time, a few weeks ago, the nurse did not display any symptoms. Contact tracers have been praised by health authorities. Let's take a listen now.
When you don't know the links, when you know that there's still something out there, I'm just never sure what else could be going on, what other chains of transmission, what other friendship groups could there be, what other venues. So you will see this morning a whole range of other venues that the nurse has been at.
The Chief Health Officer has also ordered the urgent retesting of a contact of one positive case. Now, that contact had been in the PA hospital and was supposed to be following quarantine orders, but she breached those yesterday and left the hospital. It took hours for police to track her down, and that was after the lockdown had been lifted across Greater Brisbane at midday. That woman is now back in hospital and will be retested. The Chief Health Officer believes she doesn't pose a significant risk given she tested negative a couple of days ago.
SA Health has apologised to hundreds of travellers after a quarantine SMS bungle. On Thursday, around 260 Brisbane arrivals were told via text that they weren't required to isolate for 14 days when in fact they were. SA Health has since apologised for the confusion, saying that anyone who arrived in South Australia after 5 p.m. on the 29th of March must quarantine for 14 days and get a COVID-19 test on days 1, 5 and 13. The blame game between the state and federal governments over who's at fault for the slow COVID-19 vaccine rollout, well, it's turned personal. As Rob Scott reports, it's gotten particularly nasty between federal frontbencher David Littleproud and Queensland's Deputy Premier.
Well, the finger-pointing is showing no signs of slowing down, with David Littleproud accusing the states of stockpiling vaccines and telling them to pull their finger out. That infuriated premiers, in particular Queensland's Deputy, Stephen Miles, who says his state is running very low on vaccine supplies, labelling Minister Littleproud this year's April Fool for suggesting the states weren't pulling their weight. He's fired back, saying, "I won't be lectured to by a man who was sacked as health minister and a government which is derelict in their duty and incompetent." While the insults keep flying there, it does appear as though progress is being made elsewhere. The federal government indicating it's prepared to come to an agreement with New South Wales to use its hospitals as mass vaccination hubs to speed up the rollout.
I encourage the Prime Minister and Greg Hunt to swallow their pride and to start those discussions with states about ways in which the states can assist with this rollout that's so far off track currently.
Something else likely to quicken the pace, a third jab on the way.
We will hopefully get access to one additional vaccine from offshore later on this year. That's Novavax. So if you think about it, we're getting our Pfizer vaccines coming in from offshore. We're going to produce about 1 million doses a week onshore, and then there'll be another vaccine, we hope, in the middle of the year.
Despite the back and forth, the federal government is confident that all Australians will have at least received their first jab by October.
The Prime Minister has praised Australians for their great spirit and mateship during his annual Easter message. Scott Morrison spent the morning at church in Sydney to start the Easter long weekend. He earlier delivered a special message alongside his wife Jenny.
Happy Easter, Australia. Easter is a very special time where people and families are coming together right across our country, and for many in a way they haven't been able to do over the past year.
Church leaders are also giving Easter messages of hope ahead of a busy 3 days of services. The AFL has launched an investigation into the behaviour of a Collingwood fan in the minutes after last night's nail-biting loss to the Brisbane Lions. Collingwood is also investigating whether the supporter is a club member. A prominent New South Wales mayor who recently faced calls to resign is now in a coma fighting for life. A family spokesman for Dubbo Mayor Ben Shields has told News Corp the 40-year-old is in intensive care following a medical episode. On Wednesday, half a dozen fellow councillors signed a letter accusing him of bullying and intolerant behaviour and called for his immediate resignation. Australia's east coast is said to be hit by intense rain this long weekend as the clean-up from recent floods continues. A coastal trough is forming off the Sunshine State, which could stretch into northern New South Wales over the coming days. The worst is expected to hit on Sunday.
We will see rain really start to increase, and depending on how those systems move, we could see a couple hundred millimetres each day.
It's a very different story here in SA, with the Country Fire Service preparing for a total fire ban in the lower southeast tomorrow, while temperatures could soar into the mid-30s in Victoria. Millions of precious COVID vaccines have ended up in the bin after a major bungle, and that's coming up next, and why the error is set to cause rollout delays. Plus, an April Fool's prank turns violent as thousands break COVID lockdown, and see a very special penguin parade raising money for sick kids.
In the stark and rugged lands of Australia's north, a sudden rash of random murders, police realised that they're hunting a serial killer, the Kimberley Killer.
The extraordinary manhunt across the outback.
Desperate police chase.
He was very much determined to kill one of us.
And the heroic investigation that stopped a madman.
Will be nothing short of explosive.
New Crime Investigation Australia, Most Infamous, Sunday on 7.
South Australia's best odds to become an instant millionaire is back. The MS Game Changer Lottery is your chance to get a millionaire makeover, and we've got 2 to give away. Yes, 2 lucky grand prize winners will become instant millionaires their way. So, will you choose the Metricon home and land package and build a home fit for a millionaire? Or pick the cash for a cool million in the bank? It's up to you. There's more. Give your next holiday a makeover with the Super Early Bird Prize. A trip for 2 around the world, flying business class, of course. Or take home $25,000 in cash. And our early bird winner? They'll drive away in a brand new Mercedes-Benz EQC. Every ticket sold helps us make a life-changing difference for South Australians living with multiple sclerosis. So go on, with the best odds in the state to win big, which millionaire makeover will you choose? The last lottery sold out early, so don't delay. Get your tickets at msgamechanger.com.au.
It's come down to this last play. Oh, Mark, and he's got it! The siren's going to sound.
Kick after the siren to win the game for your club.
And it's bucketing down here at the G.
Kicker's on the way. It's a big kick. It's a medal kick.
Somehow the game's story. And he's put it through. Somehow the kick. Anything's possible after this. Somehow the kick.
Harvey Norman, everything for the heart of the home. Get 5% back in Harvey Norman gift cards on selected cooking appliances, 5% back on belling, plus up to $1,500 cash back on selected cookers, 5% back on Fisher & Paykel, plus up to an additional 10% cash back on package deals. Get 5% back on Smeg and Bosch, and 5% back on Westinghouse and Electrolux. Building, renovating, or just updating, Harvey Norman has the best brands. Plus, get 60 months interest free and receive a bonus gift card up to $500.
Go!
At Terry White Chemmart, we're here to help this winter. That's why pharmacists like Bridget are trained to administer flu vaccinations right here in store. Book now. Walk-ins also available. Terry White Chemmart. Now that's real chemistry.
You're watching 7's Morning News live from our Adelaide studios. The Easter long weekend kicked off with a beautiful warm start to Good Friday. Gorgeous out there, the sun's shining if you're lucky enough to be there. On St Peter's Cathedral, looking great as always, already 28 degrees. A man has been found dead inside a home in Melbourne. The homicide squad has been called in to investigate, with the area expected to be blocked off for the remainder of the day. Cassie Zervos reports.
This suburban street in Melbourne's east remains a crime scene this morning after a man was found dead inside a home. Paramedics were called to Lorraine Street in Boronia just before 5 o'clock. A man was found inside the home in a critical condition, but sadly there was nothing they could do to save him. The neighbourhood was quickly blocked off as the homicide squad were called in. They are now leading the investigation, but at this stage it's still unclear if the man's death is suspicious.
I woke up to the lights and sound from a lot of people talking, and I was like, that's very unusual. What my neighbour's doing, and when I open look through the window, there are a lot of police cars.
Earlier this morning, a woman and a child returned to the scene and left with police. It's believed the area will be taped off for most of today as detectives continue to probe how the man died.
Production of the single-shot Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine has hit a delay. Up to 15 million doses have been thrown out after they didn't meet quality control standards. US correspondent David Woywood reports.
Good morning. Yes, this a major blunder at a critical point in America's vaccine rollout. 15 million doses of the one-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine discarded after a contamination scare. This plant in Baltimore, which manufactures two different types of COVID-19 vaccine, mixing up ingredients, raising questions about the speed of the inoculation program as some states start recording virus surges.
Johnson & Johnson has made clear that they expect to deliver 24 million doses in April and that they expect to meet their commitment of 100 million doses by the end of May.
Johnson & Johnson catching the mistake as it's revealed the plant at the centre of the bungle has recorded a string of federal quality control violations in the past. The Food and Drug Administration still yet to fully certify Emergent's Baltimore facility.
One production run, one batch of product was determined to be inconsistent with our quality specification.
This as Pfizer confirms its vaccine provides up to 91% protection against illness 6 months after the second dose. The stage 3 clinical trial also revealing strong protection against the dangerous South African variant. And importantly, none of those that received the Pfizer vaccine developed severe illness.
Riot police have used tear gas and a water cannon to disperse crowds in Brussels after thousands showed up to a fake festival as part of an April Fool's Day joke. Officers were sent scrambling after nearly 20,000 people said they would attend during Belgium's strict COVID lockdown. Some people who refused to leave threw projectiles at police. Pope Francis has begun Easter services at the Vatican, all scaled down because of the coronavirus pandemic. Just 200 people were allowed to attend the Holy Thursday Mass at St Peter's Basilica. The 84-year-old blessed oil that will be used in church sacraments and led cardinals, bishops and priests in the renewal of their vows. A London police officer is facing a lengthy stint behind bars after being convicted of involvement in far-right terrorism. The 22-year-old was radicalised and acted as a recruiter for a banned neo-Nazi group. Sarah Greenhalgh reports from London.
22-year-old Benjamin Hannam had been a serving Metropolitan Police officer for almost 2 years when his details were found on a leaked database connecting him to the neo-Nazi group National Action, which was banned in 2016. It was evidence found during a search of his North London apartment that led a jury to convict him. Officers, his colleagues, found business cards, posters, photos connecting Hannam to this neo-Nazi group. He was also found guilty today of possessing terrorism material relating to knife combat and how to make explosives. Now, the Met Police says that Hannam was radicalised at a young age. He was seduced online by a toxic ideology, they say. But this case has raised some really big questions about the service's vetting procedures. How did he get through, especially given some of Hannam's teachers at school had raised concerns about his extremist views expressed in class. Investigators say there is no evidence that his right-wing beliefs have impacted his on-duty policing. He will be sentenced later this month.
Sports next with Hazy. He's back from church and here in the studio, and the Lions win an absolute thriller against the Pies to kick off the Easter weekend. Also ahead, the Reds' winning streak comes to an end against the Mariners, and some good news for the 36ers with one of their best returning from injury.
Friday footy returns with a Sandful AFL double. Eagles and Sturt, then Crows and Suns. Today
on 7, your home of footy.
Nature's Way Beauty Collagen Tablets enhance collagen formation deep under the skin where beauty creams can't reach. Nature's Way Beauty Collagen gives your skin back its youthful bounce, glow and radiance.
They've always had their issues, but their rivalry has entered a new dimension.
They're a little animated.
Really? This year,
could he wear a jaunty hat? I think that'd be adorable.
Check in with the world's best, worst friends.
That is a wanted dead or alive, and your stick figure of a mouse, and your E's are backwards. That's never gonna work.
Tom and Jerry the movie, in cinemas now.
The Good Guys Easter doorbuster deals are on now. This LG washer only $648. Dyson V10 vacuum only $799. This HP 14-inch laptop only $349. And this GoPro only $599. Easter doorbuster deals only at The Good Guys.
Climb a tower and be a princess, get shot at with arrows, wizards throwing spell packets. It's an amazing feeling. It's euphoric.
There are so many ways we can live better. Search Medibank Live Better to find yours.
South Australia's best odds to become an instant millionaire is back. The MS Game Changer Lottery is your chance to get a millionaire makeover, and we've got 2 to give away. Yes, 2 lucky grand prize winners will become instant millionaires their way. So, will you choose the Metricon home and land package and build a home fit for a millionaire? Or pick the cash for a cool million in the bank? It's up to you. There's more. Give your next holiday a makeover with the Super Early Bird Prize. A trip for 2 around the world, flying business class, of course. Or take home $25,000 in cash. And our early bird winner? They'll drive away in a brand new Mercedes-Benz EQC. Every ticket sold helps us make a life-changing difference for South Australians living with multiple sclerosis. So go on. With the best odds in the state to win big, which millionaire makeover will you choose? The last lottery sold out early, so don't delay. Get your tickets at msgamechanger.com.au.
At Terry White Chemmart, get real deals on your favourite skincare brands like Cetaphil Gentle Skin Cleanser, Sukin Foaming Facial Cleanser and Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Gel. Shop in store or online. Real value every day at Terry White Chemmart.
Good morning. Let's start with footy, and the Brisbane Lions have upset Collingwood in a 1-point after the siren thriller. Joe Danaher opened the scoring, but from there the Magpies took control of the match, trailing by 5 points, and with just seconds to go, any hope of a Lions win rested solely on Zach Bailey's young shoulders.
Every boy dreams of this. Directly in front, he's got it. He's got it. The dream comes true.
Oh, how good was that? It was vindication for Bailey, who was last week denied a free kick to win the match against the Cats. The Lions now have their first win of the season. Well, Port Adelaide will finalise its side to take on the Eagles in Perth tomorrow night. Connor Rosie and Todd Marshall are both set to return. Tonight, the Crows take on the Suns at Adelaide Oval, and of course you can catch that straight after our news at 6 o'clock. Well, Adelaide United's winning run has finally come to an end, going down 2-1 to Central Coast Mariners in a top-of-the-table clash. Cassini Yangi put the Reds in front, while young keeper Joe Gauci incredibly saved 2 penalties, but he couldn't keep the Mariners at bay for much longer.
Bazanek! It was going to take a strike of quality to beat Joe Gauci.
Gauci was then partly at fault for a Lou Quoll's winner, as the Mariners scored 2 goals in 3 minutes. The Reds now have a 9-day break before playing Western Sydney at Hindmarsh next Saturday. Well, the Adelaide 36ers, young gun Josh Giddey, he got through training this morning and will officially return against the Hawks tomorrow night. Giddey has spent the past few weeks on the sidelines with an ankle injury.
It is tough, especially when you want to be out there helping the guys win, and that's what we need. And I'm happy to be back tomorrow night, and it's a big game for us because we've been in a bit of a slump lately, and we need a win to kind of get out of it and get our momentum rolling. So it's a big one for us, and I'm glad to be back for it.
The Sixers have lost their last 5 games. Well, Ash Barty was in fine form against Elena Svitolina in the semi-final of the Miami Open. Despite dealing with an ab issue, Barty needed less than 90 minutes to win in straight sets.
It wasn't easy today, not by any means. I thought I played a really good match today. I felt like I wanted to try and come out here and be aggressive, and I was able to execute it.
The world number one will face either Bianca Andreescu or Maria Sakkari in the final. That is our look at sport this morning. Smitho, Ken Hinkley in 7 News at 6 tonight. He'll have the final side. And then, of course, the Crows and Suns. Who have you got? Give us a tip.
I'll tip the Crows by 5 goals. Tex will kick 7 and he'll go even further ahead in the Brownlow medal.
Wow, there you go. If you've got a spare
We'll
20,
wait and see, won't we?
That's where it's going. Common medal.
Thanks for that, Gee, I hope I'm right. Good Friday is heating up to be an autumn scorcher today. Stay with us. I'll have all the weather details for the long weekend right after the break.
The pet population boom. 4.3 million extra cats and dogs in the last 12 months. Now, the massive sign-ups for pet insurance. Is it worth it?
There are ways of getting more value out of your insurance.
What are the best deals, the best cover, and the costly traps? 7 News, 6 o'clock.
Roof Seal are giving you more bang for your buck with the Super Seal sale. Get your roof restored and pay $1 per ridge cap repair, $1 per tile change, $1 per whirlybird, $1 per standard downpipe, $1 per gutter guard. Or get an electric roller shutter installed and pay $1 per roller shutter installation and $1 per roller shutter remote control. It's our Super Seal sale and we're giving you more bang for your buck.
1336 7070.
Roof.
Come on, darling, up you hop. There's a glass and a half in everyone.
Life skills and confidence for kids, to me that's big.
A workplace that really cares for its apprentices, to me that's big.
Giving artists a chance to share their stories.
Local jobs for local kids, to me that's big.
Getting good food to where it's needed the most, to me that's big.
The people in South Australia's great outback. What a place to live.
And to have support for things that
make it even better.
To us, that's big too.
It's come down to this last play. Oh, Mark, he's got it! The siren's going to sound.
Kick after the siren to win the game for your club.
And it's bucketing down here at the G.
Kicker's on the way. It's a big kick. It's a medal kick.
Sometimes the captain's there.
He's put it through.
Sometimes the kick. Anything's possible after this. Sometimes you get kicked.
For a crackling good time, dish up a delicious pork roast and have an even happier Easter. Get some pork on your fork.
Roof Seal are giving you more bang for your buck with the Super Seal sale. Pay $1 per whirlybird, tile change, ridge cap repair, standard downpipe or gutter guard.
1336 7070.
Roof.
What makes Nature's Way Adult Vita Gummies seriously good? Is it because they support daily health and well-being? Or they're a great alternative to swallowing tablets? Or simply the delicious flavour? Choose Nature's Way Adult Vita Gummies. They're seriously good.
One of Victoria's most popular tourist attractions has put on a special Easter show raising funds for sick kids. Thousands tuned in for a live stream of the Penguin Parade last night, with one lucky patient invited to attend the VIP experience. Very cute indeed. Now to the weather, and it's clear skies ahead for the start of the Easter long weekend. 33 is the top in the city and the rest of the state will get to enjoy the sunshine as well. 36 in Ceduna, 31 in Port Lincoln, 30 in Kingscote and reaching 35 in Murray Bridge. Interstate today and a possible shower in Brisbane, partly cloudy and 26 in Sydney, sunny and 29 in Melbourne and reaching 32 in the west. Back home it'll be sunny and 32 tomorrow, then cooling off slightly to 28 on Easter Sunday. Cloud clearing and 26 on Easter Monday, and then we should stick to those mid to high 20s for the next week. That's all the news for now. I'll have all the day's top stories at 6 o'clock, just before the footy. Bye for now.